Why, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club.
God damn, pop that fucking top just as soon as we start.
My name is Knick Knack. With me is the great Lord Vorn.
Hello, ladies and gents.
Go to hell. Realm Shifter.
Ass Pride!
I'm gonna start referring to him as Gentleman Vorn, like Gentleman Jack, but Gentleman Vorn.
Seki.
The great.
And whatever you go by.
Bakaj, I remember.
Hey everybody, it's me, Bakaj. I'm very happy to be back, and I'm really excited to see how many chairs we break this time.
It's been a while, too. I think the last time you were here, we were doing Puella?
No,
it was Konosuba and what was the other one that I can never remember the name
Rokujoma.
Yeah,
Rokujoma. That was the last time I was here. It was a while ago.
Yeah, but you were also here for Puella.
Yeah, so
you've been here a
Puella
few
was the
times.
first time you guys had me on.
Yeah.
Wait, weren't in Rokujoma last season?
Yeah.
So you've... and this is the end of the season. Oh my.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
sorry.
this the last of the season?
It's not. We still
Well,
have
nearing
3
the
more.
end.
Oh,
Nearing
okay.
the end.
But also, I'm sorry that this is what I invited you for.
Oh no, I'm looking forward to this. Believe it or not, this is actually going to be very entertaining. Should I tell the work story before we actually get into things?
Oh, yeah. Let's
Okay,
start
so
with that.
I have been giving my my coworker buddy updates on what my thoughts on in this anime, and he asked me, and after giving him in-depth detail about what the things happen in here, and he asked, who put this in here? And I said, well, Vorn did. And he's
But
like,
it came from the hat.
yeah, it came,
specifically.
But you put it in the hat.
You specifically
Yes.
put it in the hat. And so my coworker asked me, specifically, when you see him for the podcast, karate chop him in the neck.
Oh no, blame me. I now know reason why. Because I actually haven't watched this before, as they have stated in the end of the last video.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Vorn doomed us to this bullshit vampire knight fucking vampire werewolf
Ass Pride.
shit.
Ass Pride.
Ass pride.
Ass Pride.
Don't no, because you make it sound like ass class, and it doesn't deserve that
Yeah,
comparison.
no, it don't. Not at all.
So let's go around with our initial ratings. We'll start with Realm.
Alright. This one, I'm gonna give it a meh. I'm gonna give it a meh.
Generous.
I'm gonna give it a meh.
So, the problem here is I would have to remember. So, this is Knick Knack. The problem here is I'd have to remember what happened for me to care enough to give it a shit or an ooh-woo or an approved. I don't remember anything that happened outside, like, the last few episodes.
Well,
So-
you're in luck. Like I said, I took notes.
Oh, thank you, Bakash. So, I have to give this a meh just for that.
Vorn.
Oh yeah, definitely a big ass meh. This thing is... Ooh, this thing got issues.
Have we explained to you our rating system?
It's
package?
been a very long time
So
since
we've
I
got-
remember it.
approved, meh, shit, and ooh-woo.
And Uwu is
Cringe.
basically...
It is good cringe culture.
Okay, so for me, it's going to be in that middle line between shit and uwu, because it's like, if you watch this by yourself, it's completely shit, but if you watch this with, like, some friends,
Oh, this
and,
sounds
like,
like
you
a
got,
great
like, a couple
drunk
beers,
anime.
maybe,
Oh, yeah.
it would be
Oh, yeah.
hilariously bad to watch.
Okay, so in the context of today, it's ooh-woo, because you're discussing it with a group
Yes,
and we
but
watched it
when
together.
I was watching it, it's shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Normally
y'all...
we wouldn't allow that sort of vague answer, but because you're a guest, more
Yeah.
power to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, appreciate it. Thank
Y'all
you for the
are
leniency.
so fucking generous. This is absolute hot shit.
And we've seen worse, I feel.
Y'all are so fucking generous. God damn, where was this generosity when you downgraded Fairy Tale?
The
That was just
being
due to
approved in a
fucking-
met and a met and a shit is much larger.
I give this a shit.
We've seen way worse than this.
Okay, just because we've seen way worse does not mean that
That's
this
my
was not
problem.
still a shit. That is a theory of relativity answer, and I reject that.
Here's my
Here's the
problem
thing, we
here.
have
Something
to.
like, what was it that we watched? I forget the name. Amagami SS. That's always literally going to stick out to me in my mind as something I had a negative reaction to.
Yeah.
I'm going to forget this in a matter of a week.
I don't think I'm ever gonna forget this. I was betrayed.
So then you disproved your own theory of relativity.
I mean, I've also not forgotten Amagami SS. I was betrayed there too.
But you called it theory of relativity for Vorn bullshit.
he said-
but you're explaining the theory of relativity by not by giving this one a shit because you're not going to forget it. So there we go.
I feel like none of us are qualified to talk about the theory of relativity.
I mean, last thing I'll say on this is I don't keep my opinions of what's shit and what's not that we've seen on the podcast ranked in like an ordered list, right? They're in groups. I'm not ordering everything we've seen like worst, like best to worst. So I can't say like this is worse than Amagami or Amagami is worse than this, because Amagami and this are just shit like Citrus was. Like they're just 3 shit shows. I couldn't tell you which one. Well, Amagami SS was maybe the only one that made me viscerally uncomfortable in my body.
That's quite a claim.
This
It was
didn't
pretty
quite
bad.
do
It got
that.
a unanimous shit from all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I remember Seki mentioning that it's like one of the only times it got a unanimous shit from everybody on the podcast.
Yeah. And honestly, I think it wouldn't have been so bad if it wasn't done the way it was done. But enough about Amagami SS. Go watch that video.
Yes.
If you want to hear our thoughts.
Speaking as someone who's given it a meh, and therefore is a source of some of Seki's vitriol here, which is surprising, Amagami SS, I could point to moments where I'm like, okay, this is awful. I'd rather not be watching this. Here it's like, I'd rather not be watching this, but at the same time, it's like, I'm just bored.
Yeah, I think I had a much worse reaction to Amagami SS than some of the boys did.
I had a pretty bad reaction to Amagami SS. I was
I-
there with you, and we were both
That's
like,
true. We were going.
Amagami SS
I actually
was
had to
active
hide.
pain.
Like I had to hide like from the screen.
There were multiple instances. Like I watched Amagami SS on my own. I had to pause. Because the cringe was too much.
I mean, it's not that bad, but I would still put this in my shit tier. Like, I'm never gonna watch this again. I didn't enjoy it, and I would never recommend it to anyone.
You know, actually, funny enough, you mentioned pausing because of the cringe. Rolling it back to Assassin's Pride is that at least minimum of 1 time per episode, I had to pause the video just to go gross and just rub my temples.
There was one moment.
Because there is
I will give you that.
one
Oh.
moment. I'm excited to hear what that moment is.
Shit,
We'll get
I'm
to that in story. I do remember one moment.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
I'm super fucking excited for story because you're less desensitized than the 4 of us are to some of the anime isms.
Yeah.
And so you took, like you were texting me, you took real bad offense, and we're going to get to that in story, over some things that are just anime isms for us because we've seen it so many times. Like, we acknowledge that, but it doesn't have such a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited to get to that. But, let's wait for Vorn to get back before we continue on to
Yeah.
OPED.
I'll say just in the general thoughts here. I think I'm fairly certain, while there are things here that are definitely like, oh, for someone like Baka, who is not as desensitized, if I'm looking at this as in the grander context of anime, especially a lot of other anime we've seen, this one, it feels like a rushed light novel adaptation. There's a lot of times where it feels like they just jump to events and they're jumping to major events.
As far as I know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is that it's based off a light novel series.
Well, I figured it was light novel, but it feels like there's a lot of times, like, sometimes in series they'll downright, like, at one point they downright get to a fight.
Story section.
Vorn has returned.
Yes. Sorry about that, everybody. So what section are we on right now?
We're about to start OPED. So how did we all feel about the opening song of this fucking anime?
I actually kind of like the OP. That's like the one thing I was like, oh, it was pretty good, actually.
It did bang a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of felt a bit Kachi looking.
Here's the thing,
Yes.
right? It is very rare that an OP is just bad, though. Like, OPs are specifically designed to be
Well,
attractive and catchy and fun and make
typically-
you enjoy it.
If there's a problem in OP, it's just like, I just won't remember it if it's just not it's not a decent
I
OP.
don't remember this one much, but I don't think it was bad.
I actually thought this one pretty decent.
I actually had a very, because I'm one of those assholes who like looks for deeper meaning and symbolism and things, is I watched the opening thing that stood out of me about the opening is the song, the juxtaposition of the song and the visuals, because the visuals are very dour and like grungy, like everything's darkly shaded and it looks like very depressing and like it's trying to bring you down, but this song is so happy and peppy and like so exciting. It's just, it's really,
It's this
It's
Whiplash.
weird.
yeah, it is a whiplash kind of feeling to it.
And
It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling from this because
Because if you were just listening to it, it'd be pretty peppy and cheery, and if you were just watching it with no sound, it's hella fucking dark, depressing. Like, the aesthetic is on point with, like, some sort of fucking...
Isn't this like we had one like this. We had a show like this. What was it? Milka Magical Girl?
No, Puella Mag...
Well,
that was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
intentional.
that was
right?
intentional
I
to
hate that still.
to
Okay,
throw you
but-
off from it.
But For Puella, it's done on purpose that you misjudge the tone of the show, right? And it has meaning. Here, it doesn't feel like it's done for you to misjudge the show and have meaning. Here, it just feels like they put a peppy opening song because they knew people would like it.
Yeah.
No, the problem is
To
that
the
they
opening
kept
sequence.
that same like opening for Puella, even toward the end. And
Yeah,
it's,
no, but that's the point. It's supposed to juxtapose the darkness of the series with Puella.
But I think
changed it.
yeah, I think I know what Vorn is saying is that like as the show goes on and they go deeper
should have
into
gotten
that
darker?
like the tone of the visuals and maybe the song even like kind of changed to fit with a darker mood. I mean, I think that would have been cool, but I understand that is a lot of money that you would have to invest into it.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, but we're not all Bake Monogatari. We can't get a different opening song for every single arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bake Monogatari has 5 opening songs in
Oh,
the first
shit.
season because there are 5 arcs.
Like that
Yeah.
one you hear in
Yeah.
all like the top.
Is
animes,
number
that's
3
like
or number
3 and it
4?
plays in 2 episodes.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So we can't all have that kind of money, especially a show like this.
Yeah.
No.
Like this was not highly looked forward to when it came out.
Oh, yep.
No.
Yeah.
That showed everywhere.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't say I ever saw it.
The-
But
So this came out in 2019 too. I checked. The
Assassin's
animation
Creed?
is standard for 2019.
Homogenous.
I don't
saw
think-
issues, but like I'm going.
But I don't
Talk
think
about
that
more
there
story.
were. I don't think that there were issues any worse than any other slightly less popular 2019
I'm
show.
gonna play the other side here. I was actually kind of disappointed by the action animation. At least I thought they were pretty lazy about it.
yeah, I feel like there was no Sakuga in
Yeah.
this anime whatsoever. It's like everything looks the exact same. Like it has the same frame rate, has the same animation. There's no like actual Sakuga that jumps out and goes, "Oh, holy crap, that was awesome."
It feels like a modern Fate Stay Night in terms of how the animation was handled for
See,
fights.
I just chalk that down to it not being super looked forward to or super well funded. I just kind of chalk that down to like the
I also did feel that I also did get a couple good chuckles as to you watch a character slowly recede into the background and like as they go into the background they turn more into like a gelatinous blob.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
can see their facial features like morph and like disappear.
The only thing that I'm glad that did not appear in this, that seemed to appear in a lot of modern animes, is that there was no terrible 3D CG that I could notice.
Oh,
that is
yeah.
not
Good
good.
at that.
Oh my
Although-
god, have you
but-
guys
wait,
seen
but-
the trailer for the new Trigun?
No.
yes.
Oh,
Whoa,
no.
that CG is
Terrible.
weird.
But is the reason why there's no shitty 3D because they didn't have enough money to attempt it in the first place,
I'm
or
a-
because they were making a smart decision by not attempting it?
That's a hard question to answer because usually they use CG to save on money.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's a lot of repeat scenes I also noticed, but like
Reused animation, yeah.
really, really big ass thing that I noticed. You remember those hourglasses from like I think episode 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hourglass is supposed to be all sand in one side, and then like no
Oh, it's
sand.
always in the middle, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
always has the same amount of sand in it.
and
You're
the
right.
sun
Yeah.
is like
You're right. I actually didn't realize that until just now, but you're totally right.
Yeah.
It has the same amount of sand. It never changes.
Yeah, it never
I
changed.
think for the first time ever, Warren just peeked the mic.
nah, I peeked the mic before.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud. Yeah, I guess the animation wasn't great. I guess I'm still so fucking skewed on whether animation's good or not, given my experiences with what I enjoy watching. Like, I have watched some of the best of animation and some of the worst of animation, and so I'm pretty fucking skewed when I judge animation. I tend to approach it from like, oh yeah, this looks better than like 2003 Naruto. Of course it fucking does. It's 16 years later.
One thing I do love of just I could be totally wrong about this, but when they go into like Super Saiyan mode, basically, is that they clearly what they do is they take they highlight the character and like go into like the settings for the line art and change it from black to whatever color it is, and then they turn the saturation up
Oh god,
to make
it
them look like
fucking-
they're glowing. It
Oh.
looks so bad.
No, it was the fucking worst. So one of the characters, they do it in blue, right?
Yeah.
It's that. So there's a certain type of blue that when the saturation is turned all the way up on a screen, it gives me migraines. It's the same blue that they used for the transforming dress scene in the live-action Cinderella.
Oh, no.
And it feels like fucking knives in my cornea. Like, it feels like I'm taking knives to the side of my eyeballs.
Yeah.
And I was not happy about that.
My main problem with the animation here is that all the characters' faces were so fucking homogenous. Like, literally, if you you would not be able to tell the characters apart, especially the female characters, if you just swap their hairstyles.
This is the
give them
anime
all-
version.
Well,
This is
hairstyles and
yeah,
eyes.
this is the anime version of CalArt style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give them all, like, the same generic girl hair, and you would not be able to tell them apart if you didn't.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you didn't have different hairstyles and different eye colors.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, it is very often that we do denote different characters by an aesthetic color choice or hairstyle choice, but it shouldn't be the only defining
But the
feature.
thing is also,
Yeah.
like, I think there's only one difference in body type
Yeah.
in, like, one character.
Oh God.
yeah,
the
they all have
classmates.
big boobas.
No, they don't. There's
don't.
only one.
Only
Only
big
one of them.
boob.
Oh,
The
shit,
rest
sorry.
were,
That
yeah.
fucking what I'm thinking of is sometimes when they melt into the background, part of the part that like
Oh yeah, like the act, like the bodice of their like
Yeah,
clothing,
like,
it
gets bigger
warps
as they
out
melt.
for some reason.
yeah, I think it's
it-
because they're trying to show that they're still females even though they're in the back, but it makes their
So
that goes more into character design, so we'll talk about that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
I think.
okay, yeah. Well,
What's
if
like
we're-
that Adobe art thing where like you actually get to like warp stuff?
Fucking-
Yeah,
It
yeah.
works.
The squat, like that weird. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what that's called, but I know exactly. Yeah, that weird Photoshop thing where you can just like widen
yeah.
certain aspect
Yeah.
ratios.
God.
this is where Seki the editor inserts wide Putin.
Oh my god.
What did you guys think of the ED to get back on track a little bit?
It was entirely unmemorable and I don't remember it.
It was unmemorable, and there's only one point I noticed it, and that's when they made the fundamental mistake of playing the ED in the final episode. You don't do that, or at least if you don't play it like normal.
Yeah.
That is something that I just I have opinions on that. But normally you either cut to use the OP as the final episode of the ED, or you make sure that it's like scenes of the characters. They just cut straight to the ED to save.
Well, they did use the OP in the laziest final fight I had ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got dust stuck in my throat, sorry.
Death.
The only reason why I like the ED is because it reminded me of the ED of Assassination Classroom, the final season. About like that.
Poor ass class being compared to ass pride.
I thought we opened this episode as
I know.
verifying we don't want to compare.
I know, I feel bad, but I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just had that same tone. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's entirely fair. I don't often pay a lot of attention to EDs in general, so I don't know about the whole, like, usually they don't play the set, because I don't stick around for the EDs, but I feel like I've never seen them play something different at the final episode.
It's not something they do on a lot of slice, but like when you
Yeah.
have a show that's trying to be more action oriented, or it's trying to be do that kind of thing, you typically don't. You want to slow it out, but that's me being entirely nitpicky here.
Yeah, I
That's
never-
not an actual real criticism I'd hold against the show if the show wasn't already
There's
shit.
certain shows where it's like that, but there's also like certain shows where they'll like change maybe the tune of like the thing, but like everything will be the same.
well, I mean the like the ED of like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think part 3 and 4. I always stuck around for the end because as the series goes on, they change the ED,
Yeah.
the visuals of the ED as they add more stuff to it. But that's a very rare case, as far as I know.
Yeah, I've seen EDs where they change the visuals of it, right? Like
Yeah.
throughout the episodes. Like One Piece does that. A lot of other shows I've seen do that. Sometimes when you're picking up characters as you go across the series, even in short
what time
series.
what time are we at? Okay, about 19 minutes and 50 seconds. It took that long for Seki to bring up One Piece. She looks like she's good. Oh, she's getting the rubber band gun.
Oh no.
Just don't hit me in the face. I'm gonna get so much shit for that later.
Jesus fucking Christ. But I mean, I've seen where they change the visual, so I get that. I just didn't realize that sometimes final episodes like change the song. Other than obviously 86, because 86 had the 2 EDs and everything. But
It's because
Yeah.
you don't want that final episode to feel like just another episode. Whereas here, it definitely does feel like just another episode at the middle of the series.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
that's something I've noticed too. Is like a lot of times they don't even use like the ending song. They just kind of have the credits playing over what's
Yeah.
happening to like
Yeah.
for the sequel hook. I guess is what
Yeah.
a lot of them do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like along with like maybe
that's what
sometimes
Spy
like,
Fam
what they do
did.
is they change the tone of the music, but
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's what Spy Fam did. They had the hook
Yeah.
for season 2.
Oh my god. Don't get me started.
We finished it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I need to finish it.
Yeah, I guess with that being said, that covers our thoughts on OPED. First thoughts. So we'll be back with story and characters.
Try
Like,
harder, everyone.
comment, subscribe.
Something bang bang. Something bang bang.